My name is CPA Noah Ndakala. I'm the managing partner of Ronas LLP. We are an audit, business and tax advisory firm operating in Kenya and the larger East African region. We also have an affiliation through an international association network, BKR, which is one of the leading associations for independent accounting and business advisory firms with over 80 countries globally. So today we are happy to join you as we collaborate with the Tally Solutions to take any questions that you might have through their Facebook platform. Today's topic is about financial management for SMEs during this unique time of lockdown. So I'll just proceed and read some of the questions that you have posted, and then we see how we can address the same questions. I've seen one person has asked about the issue of digital signatures management and whether they are working in Kenya. What I could say is that the issue of digital signatures is based on the various legislation. The Business Registration Act of 2020 brought in an amendment where electronic signatures are now admissible for transacting any business. Of course, there are other requirements within the different laws. For example, there are documents you can't sign electronically, and we are looking at documents such as wills, codicils. There's also a requirement that some documents must be signed in the presence of a notary public, and you can't do that electronically. So again, it's based on the circumstances, but electronic signatures are currently in use. Contracts are being signed both for consultancy, for employment. So it's the current practice and the way to go. As we talk about digitization in this environment, it's only important and key that the electronic signatures are valid. There can also be misuse of those signatures based on whose signature it is, and again, who is authorized to append that electronic signature. So again, organizations internally, they have to come up with the policies that are good for that practice, so that they are also not highly exposed by virtue of using those electronic signatures. I've also seen another question, and somebody asks here, the lockdown has taken a toll on business finances. Where should I start cutting back in my retail business? Yeah, so we are looking at, again, cost management. Where should I start cutting back? And of course, this is the time for businesses to reevaluate their internal processes and procedures and see which processes can then be automated. When you automate, you're going to have to replace certain processes that consume resources, and yet now with automation, they can be done. Things like financial reporting. Now we have systems that can be used to do that. So again, if you have staff like accountants, then they take a different role. They are not actually being replaced, but they are just taking a different role, probably an analysis of the results from those systems, and again looking at the strategic areas in business, so they can also be deployed and be retrained to take up other very strategic roles, including other staff within the organization. Of course, again, it might also be very difficult to look at just cutting down on costs, because again, when you cut down on costs, it does not necessarily mean that, again, you are deriving value, because again, for you to get or scale up business, even during these times, you have to spend money. You need to look at what other areas can you spend money on that have a higher return, especially in this lockdown period, so that again there is that scaling up effect, and you are going to have to use less resources to generate more. So I would not really focus on the issue of cost cutting, but again, I would like people to look at their business model holistically and find areas where they can cut, and also areas where they can channel their resources. There is a question that asks, what about investing funds in new ventures given the current situation. In terms of where to invest, we are seeing very high growth in the tech-based businesses. We are talking about businesses that are now able to maybe delivery services. There's a lot of demand on the delivery services. There's a lot of demand on now everybody's on social media and doing business on social media. So again, organizations need to invest in those social media platforms and also other platforms, ICT, that will be able to help them to continue to do business without necessarily having to have those physical contacts. So that means that businesses that are tech-based, they are high growth. You can invest in those businesses, your funds. If you can't invest, again, you need to partner with them a lot so that you can leverage on technology to also grow your business. Of course, there are other sectors that are growing. The health sector, again, in this period of lockdown and in pandemic, it's another sector that is budding. There's now a very urgent need of healthcare. The hospitals are full, and that for some people is great business. Even when things are tight, there are a lot of businesses that are going on. It's time for businesses again to look at internationalization, globalization. Might be here with us for some time. So we can't wait for it to pass. For us is to reinvent ourselves and adapt very fast so that again there is continuity in our businesses. There's one more question again that has been asked. Somebody asks here, how can one maintain his company cash flow during the lockdown? Yeah, how can we maintain our cash flow? That we have a healthy cash flow, we have liquidity. We want money to keep flowing in so that the business continues to run. That means that we have to, again, have a way that we can renegotiate with our customers and just have a proper communication to ensure that they can pay us on time. So we have to enhance a lot of relations and service delivery to clients so that they are happy to pay. We might have to understand them. This is not the time to reap customers. It's time to, again, just make some moderate profits to just keep afloat. So again, we need also to work with our suppliers and providers of services so that, again, as we wait for our customers to pay, the suppliers can give us also some credit period so that we can collect and pay rather than also straining relationships with our suppliers, because actually suppliers are the ones that are funding our businesses because they give us services, then they supply also goods, we sell those goods, then we are paid, then we pay them. So they are giving us what we call free trade credit, which is interest free. So again, we need to have very good relationships to ensure that the cash flow is healthy. And again, we only need to spend now on the most important expenditure. This is not the time to go and start spending on capital items, especially if they are not going to be used to generate immediate revenue. This is not the time to start a new robust project. It's not a time to buy a very heavy equipment that will lie there just because probably the price is affordable this time. If you have cash flow challenges, this is not the time to pay for those things that you keep just idling there in your business. The next question somebody asks here, is it a good time to increase the amount I spend online for my small business, and what percentage of revenue is advisable to spend? A very interesting question, I would say, in terms of spending on online business activities. It's very important because we have said business is moving online. It is only important that we spend money on those platforms, and not just on those platforms, we spend money on technology. Anything that is helpful to keep our business visible, to keep our business profitable, that is where we need to spend money on. So you cannot avoid spending money online. This is the time to look at your websites and to make sure that when people land on your website, the website is appealing, it communicates about you. The contacts there are up to date, the emails, everything is up to date and interesting. People should come to your website and find solutions. And if they call or they email you, again, you have a high response time. You need to have instantaneous even answering of questions. You designate somebody who can answer questions almost simultaneously, and that will demonstrate your presence, and that will help you find new customers who are all over. In terms of how much you should spend on that, this is based on the level of your operations in your business. It's also based on your continuous reviews, because as you spend money, you must also keep checking on the returns, or maybe the people who are following up, the way you are engaging them. Do you think there is going to be business from those engagements? If there is going to be business, then you need to continue doing the same and investing money there based on what is your perceived return through those platforms. Is it wise to temporarily close my business to cut costs to enable a reopen after the pandemic? Yes, and again I say that is true. It's a good question, and I will answer in the affirmative. Yes, it is important to also even consider partial lockdown or scaling down on your operations. But again, it is based on your business. For example, if you look at the hotel industries, there's virtually no business going on. So people in the hospitality industry, especially the five-star hotels, they are better off closed, because there are all those standard costs that are still running, and it's good even if you just switch off the machines temporarily, because without that, again, those costs are still there. So partial lockdown for such like businesses, it is important. Lately, I was talking to somebody who is working in the finance industry, and he was telling me there's a lot of funds available for the businesses, for example, in Kenya. Because if you look at the other economies of the world, East Africa and Kenya, we have not been affected compared to other economies. If you look at South Africa, things are on standstill. So a lot of money will be again available to Kenya. And this is sometimes a good time to approach some of the financial institutions and have a good negotiation. You can easily get a good deal now, because there is availability of funds, and only few people can borrow. You can look at your business and see if you can vary it and get into other lines of business, other lines of products. You can also consider partial lockdown. You can scale up, scale down in terms of even try to reduce the facilities like offices and get into a smaller space. Use the virtual platforms. Working from home now, people are able to work from home and they are learning that. So how do we leverage on that and go into businesses that are able to be done without the physical infrastructure the way it has been? How do we leverage on our employees? Because it is in this time that people are going to really remember 1 or 2 years later that during this COVID, the employer did not deal ruthlessly with us. He was able to consider that everybody is affected. And now it's upon you, the business owner, to look at how you can still operate, even with your employees, even at a scaled down level, and negotiate and see what is practical. They are working from home. Yes, do they need to take a pay cut? Must they take a pay cut? Sometimes yes, sometimes maybe not. So this is the time that businesses are going to set themselves apart also, in terms of even attracting good employees. Smart companies now are out there sourcing for the most critical resource that is being wasted by a lot of businesses abandoning and saying, we can't afford you, so let us talk to you when businesses is good. I think this is the last question that I have. What are some of the smart ways of handling payroll during the pandemic, especially if the business is not performing as it should? Yeah, so I guess by default, I must have talked briefly about this question in terms of how do we handle payroll. And I think when we talk about payroll, we are basically talking about salaries to employees, including the directors. Yeah, so this is a time again to have an organization-wide conversation. This is not the time when employers will sit in a corner and try to imagine things and they don't involve employees. Because remember, even employees are aware that things are tough. And they also major stakeholders in the company. And anything that is genuine, they will really be able to listen. So the scale down of businesses, employees are aware. So as the owners of the businesses, we need to come up with a conversation, sit down with our employees and get ideas from them. You'll be surprised how much employees can offer during this time in terms of new ideas, in terms of new suggestions, in terms of just developing confidence. Remember, they are the ones who are dealing with our customers also. So the way we deal with them is also going to really be a very important driver in our business in the future. So again, as we look at also just scaling down and probably removing some of the benefits they have been getting, just to wade through these tough times, it's important that we have honest conversations with them. We could reduce salaries with percentages, even support them. Actually, when there's no business again, employers give salaries and say, we will give you salaries or we'll give you enough money to just be able to cater for your basic amenities. Because again, those amenities have not gone away. Even as businesses have suffered, people still have to pay rent, people still have to buy food. So how are companies going to work with their employees to ensure that as they look at the payroll bill, they are not again losing the employees. They can reduce certain benefits. Those can be agreed. Of course, you can agree on a timeline. I've seen some companies, especially back in 2020, where they said, okay, we will take a pay cut maybe for this percentage for this period. After that period, we resume back. It's a healthy conversation, and I will just encourage that we can talk about that. Of course, if there are any genuine areas where employees have been rendered redundant, again, there must be that honest conversation to talk to the employees. And even if you're asking them to stay away or because maybe their job is not there, again, you must assure them that there's a way that, again, you can help them in case businesses get back. So it's very important to keep those relationships, even as we look at the costs and the expenditure, because at the end of the day, business is not about the money. It's also about relationships. It's about sustainability. It's about the trust. It's about the humanity. And all these conversations have been said everywhere. Those are some of the things that you have asked. I want to stop there. We are happy to take additional questions, maybe in another session. So thank you so much, and we are looking forward to continued collaboration with Tally as we just talk about financial management during this lockdown and any other emerging issues that are very key for business posterity. Thank you so much, and God bless you.